What is up, everybody? It is your boy Zach here, aka Zach's Hustle from Instagram and TikTok, which is probably where most of y'all are coming from. Ignoring that though, let's get right into the video. I don't want to waste too much of your time. This video is going to be dedicated to a business owner who is potentially interested in buying Jobber. My idea behind this was I saw a lot of other creators made little tidbits showing what Jobber does, but there was no long form video really showing you all the in-depth details of Jobber. Just to give you a quick overview of the video, we're going to start with the onboarding process. I'm going to make that real quick and simple. That's just going to be like typing in your business name, getting your whole account set up. Step number 2 is going to be the general workflow. That's going to be the bulk of it. So that's going to be how I go from request, assessment, quote, job, invoice, etc. Then tip number 3 is going to be more of the advanced details. Now, I'm going to say this now. This video is not going to cover every single last thing about Jobber because that would just take way too long, and most people don't need a lot of the really smaller features. I'm just going to show you the biggest, bulkiest, best portions of Jobber, and I'm going to go pretty in depth, but I just want to let you know that there is going to be a little bit left on the table for you to find out yourself once you potentially buy Jobber. Now, before I get too far ahead of myself, I want to go ahead and throw this out there that if you're interested in getting your first 6 months 20% off, you can use my code. You're going to head over to go.getjobber.com/Zach Osborne. The link is going to be in the bio, and we'll probably put it on screen here as well. If I was that last little piece you needed to take that next step with growing your business, go ahead and use this link. I would really appreciate it. I put a lot of effort into promoting Jobber because I think it is such a great service, and that's why I'm making this video. Because if you don't think it's a great service after watching this video, you're never going to be happy with any CRM you ever find. So when you're first going through setting up your account, it's going to take you through all this, but you're going to go through settings in the top right, click settings right there. And this is where you're going to want to fill out all your company details, your name, number, website URL, email address, all the good details. You also want to put your business hours and stuff. And as you can see right here, it says show business hours. If you choose to, when the customer clicks on your quote or invoice or whatever, they'll be able to see the business hours down there. That is an optional setting. You can turn that on and off. One other thing that's really important here is the tax settings. So I don't use this to actually tax my customers, but like every other software, when you make a payment and it comes through Jobber, you have a surcharge fee of like 30% or whatever it is. So you can set it up so it's on every quote and every invoice. That way the customer is paying for the surcharge fee, not you or your business. The rest of it on this section is pretty straightforward. Your regional settings. Obviously this is a demo account, so it's set up in Canada. So that wouldn't be accurate for me. So I would have to go through here if I was actually using this account, but I'm not. Next, you're going to want to go ahead and head over to business profile. So this portion right here really has 2 segments to it. So the first one is the essential information. This is one going to be shown in your client hub somewhere in there. I'm not exactly sure how to get to the about us and policy section, but the biggest reason why you fill this out is if you do pay for the AI receptionist portion of Jobber, it's going to give that AI more information about your business. So when someone calls you and it goes, well, what are you guys about? It gives them the about us or, their policies. So she's like, oh, well, I need you to come tomorrow. Well, our policy says we can't do that or whatever it is. It just informs the AI more. You scroll down, then there's the brand asset. So this is going to be shown in the client hub 100% every single time. So you want to put your logo right there. And then this is the client document settings. So you can go in there and change it. So let's say your invoices, you want them to be blue and green. You can go through the style and change the theme color through here for each little thing, like for the outline of the invoice 2 and the outline of the total. Not going to waste your time with that. That's pretty easy to go through. And then the last portion of this is the social networks. This is also going to appear on all your emails and your client hub. So make sure you're only attaching social media as you want your customers to see, but you just paste the URL, click save, and you're good to go. Now, one of the last portions for the onboarding process, I'm not going to be able to help you out too much. It's actually going through and setting up the Jobber payments. Jobber makes everything really simple, so it's pretty 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's steps that take you along. But since I'm not actually going to set this whole account up for Jobber payments, I'm not going to put that all together, but it is very straightforward. So that's the bulk of the onboarding process. When you actually make the payment and go through, there is a little bit more you're going to have to do. But since I'm not full on paying for an account, I can't exactly remember what the process was when I set my account up, but I wanted to at least show you guys something so you have a general idea of what that process looks like. Now we're going to move on to the actual bulk of Jobber, as I call it, which is going to be your actual pipeline / workflow, and I'm going to show you all the nitty gritty that I can. So every time you first open Jobber, it's going to take you to your home page. So this is going to show you requests, quotes, jobs, invoices. It's going to show other little pieces of information like your business performance, so your receivables, upcoming jobs, revenue, etc. You also have a little to-do list and then today's appointment. So this is kind of just like a 360 quick little glance of your business, but it does give you a good bit of insight. So this is where the pipeline is really going to begin. As you can see, this is my website for my landscaping company. If a customer wants to reach out to us, they can click contact right there. And this is going to actually take them to the request for the jobber form. Now, obviously that contact form on my website leads to my actual business jobber account. So I can't quite use that right now. So I'm going to go through on the business side and make a fake request and show you what it looks like. Okay, so just for this video, let's pretend I didn't just make that. This is what it's going to look like. First thing I want to say is I highly suggest going through and customizing your request form. As you can see, the basic one does not include enough information in my opinion. It has the service details. I would like to do a weekly quote. And then since I already had the customer, it already has all the information saved. And then their availability and what are your preferred arrival times. One section I highly suggest adding that should not be optional, make it so they have to fill it out in order to complete the request form, is where did you hear about us? I have that on mine just so I can have a better understanding of where my leads are coming from. That way, if who knows, door hangers are getting me a lot of leads, let me double down and spend some more money on that. Now I got my request. I'm going to pull my phone out. I'm going to call the customer. Hey, how you doing? Yada, yada, yada. Let's say we schedule a time. I'm going to click schedule assessment. Start date, I'm going to come by on Monday. I'm going to arrive around 8 a.m. and it'll be done by 9 a.m. for sure. I'm going to assign it to myself so I have it there and boom, I can click save. So now there are two little options right here. First off, you can email team when assigned. I don't personally do that because it's normally booked a couple weeks out and estimates I do them personally. But you can also do a team reminder. So it's going to send them a reminder before the task is supposed to happen. You know, it could be 1 hour, 2 hour, 24 hours, whatever it is. I'm going to go ahead and click save. Now I can head on over to my schedule and I can actually see that assessment right there. Request for Ricky. And as you can see, it's got my name on there. So let's just say we fast forward to Monday. I'm done with it. I can click mark as complete, convert to quote. Now at this point, you're going to want to start putting your quote together. So you can put a title up at the top. So let's say lawn mowing services. Let's add a few line items. So we'll make the first one be mowing, terms and conditions. So the first thing I want you to notice is as soon as I typed in lawn mowing service, it popped up with this pre-written out explanation. For your business and for mine, I have mine very detailed. So really what pops up is like 4 paragraphs explaining all of our policies. Same with terms and conditions. I can type it in, it's going to pop right up, and it's going to have it all pre-filled. So just like that, you're saving a lot of time. You're not going to sit there and rewrite out every single thing. Next, you have optional line items. Let's say this customer seemed like she was potentially interested in mulching. I'm going to go ahead and throw in a mulching quote. It's optional. I can choose to recommend or not recommend it, but either way, when they're in the client hub, they can click to add on that mulching project. And let's just say the price was $45, and I think there's a 5 out of 5 chance I'm going to land this estimate. At this point, you have most of your estimate put together. You have all the information, your terms and conditions, you got your pricing and everything. You're going to scroll a little bit further down. You'll see subtotal. You can add a discount. This is where that surcharge fee I told you about. You can create tax roll, name it surcharge fee, and leave it right there. Next, you can require a deposit. Let's say it's 25%. Down here, you can add sections. You can add images, reviews, attachments. And what this could be is, for example, let's say you did a walk around with a customer and she pointed out a few things, add the pictures, circle them and say, these are the bushes being trimmed. And now that is attached to the quote. So if you show up to the job and she says, hey, I thought it was 5 bushes. Why is there only 4? Well, ma'am, the quote you signed shows 4 bushes circled, not 5. So it adds a little bit more protection. And then the reviews is more just supposed to help you land the job because hopefully you got some really good reviews. And that'll push that to the customer when you send the quote. The last 3 things on the quote portion that I'm going to show you is client message. You can add a quick little sweet message, then contract disclaimer. For me, I have it that these quotes are valid for the next 10 days. After that, they are subject to change. And I also put in there, since I'm a content creator, that we will use photos and videos from this job for educational purposes, team training purposes, and social media, whatever the heck my wording is on it. And that way, each and every single quote has that. And once I type it in, you can click apply to all future quotes and it'll be there every single time. Lastly, there's this little internal notes section that will only be seen by your team. So let's say you want to write a little note in there for your team to see, oh, this customer is crazy. Whatever it is, you can put it there. I'm going to click save quote and send as text message. This demo account does not have the text message number enabled, but let's just imagine I have the phone number for this. I'll type the number in right here, click send, and they're going to receive this little message and you can customize it to whatever you want it to be. And then it's going to also have the actual link to the client hub here, which is where they view the quote. You can also send it as email. So I'm just going to go ahead and click send just for the fun of it. Let's go. You just got your first approval with Jobber. Okay, now what's next? As you can see, unfortunately, they did not select the optional line item for the mulching, which really sucks, but I still landed that weekly mowing job. So let me show you how to set that up on the scheduling side. Click convert to job up here. So there's two types of job. There's one-off and there's reoccurring. For what I'm doing, it's going to be reoccurring, but let me just show you how a one-off job works. You'll type in the date you're going to complete the work. Let's say that. Let's say you're starting at 8 a.m. and you plan to be done at 11 a.m. You're going to assign your team members to the job, save job, text booking confirmation. The job is now saved, and the booking confirmation will be sent to them, letting them know what time we plan to arrive. But let's just say that we don't want it to be a one-off job and we want it to be a reoccurring job. I'm going to click reoccurring job right here. We're going to start mowing their yard on Monday. The start time is always going to be 8 a.m. They should be done with this yard by 8:30 a.m. It's a very small yard. We're going to do weekly on Mondays, and let's just say it's going to be for 5 months. Nope, that's too much. I can do weeks instead to get exactly what I want. It's probably about 14 weeks if I were to book it from now. Yep, that seems right. I'm going to type in these two names because they're the ones assigned to completing the work. This is the nitty gritty right here, and I'm going to really show you this because this is absolutely awesome. First awesome section is the invoicing. So you can decide you want it to be per visit or fixed price. Per visit is, let's say you show up 4 times, it'll be 4 times 45. A fixed price is, let's say you tell the customer, hey, regardless of if we come or not, if you want to stay on this route, it's 4 times 45 every single month. For my business, we personally use per visit, monthly on the last day of the month, and we get paid automatically. Now the problem is I don't have jobber payment set up on this account, but all you would do is click get paid automatically. And then every single time at the end of the month, based on how many visits you did, the customer immediately gets charged. They get a receipt sent to their email, and you also get an invoice added to your side so you can go back and look. On that invoice, each line item will be mowing, and there's going to be a date right there that's going to show you. So if your customer's like, hey, I don't remember you coming 4 times, man, we did June 6th, June 17th, June 26th, whatever it is, it's going to show those dates on the line item to you and your customer. That part was huge for me because it is such a headache having to hound down payments and also having to send that many invoices at the end of each month. Jobber just automatically does it all for me. I don't even got to think about it. Now, this portion is very, very cool. It is the job forms. So I do not have one created, so I'm going to go ahead and take you guys through that process real quick. Let's create a new job form. What this is going to do is every single time you guys click complete visit on a job, it's going to pop up with this job form being required to be filled out. So the way I use this in my business is I have, for example, special yards we mow. These are yards that are either very high end or they have small little things that we have to look out for and worry about. So every single time they complete a job, I'm like, hey, make sure you fill it out for this section. So first off, I say, did you follow all instructions? This is a special yard. Then they get a short answer. And then I'm going to add one more section. It's going to be, did you mow the yard? Checkbox, checkbox, yes, no. So just to preview that, when they finish their job and click complete, did you follow all instructions? This is a special yard. Yes, I did. Did you mow the yard? Yes. The last thing I would suggest adding to this is adding a picture section. Because now they're going to have to add an image as well. So let's just say there's a small little area that's really dipped that the customer is saying he's really worried about. We shouldn't mow it yet because it's too wet. My guys mowed it anyways because it wasn't too bad. I'm going to have them snap a picture of that because I want to have that on file in case the customer calls me complaining, oh, you guys messed it up, this is that. No, sir, actually, it looks great. On the bottom left here, you can click automatically attach to new jobs. I have one that's attached to every single job, and it's just before and afters that I require from my guys. But the ones from the mowing, they're very special, so I always go through and have to manually select which yard I want that to be added onto. It's a one-time thing, and now you have a little bit more of peace of mind knowing that you have all of this in a file somewhere for if a customer does reach out to you. You have all of the guns and ammo to pull the trigger and make sure that, you're not the one getting yelled at. Now we'll go back on over to the job scheduling portion of it. And as you can see, job forms, I can click it on and off special yards. Same exact thing though. I can click text booking confirmation. Now the job has successfully been saved. If I go to my schedule, it is going to be on there for every single Saturday. It looks like that's the day I ended up clicking. It'll be Saturday, 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 same time every single time. And all the guys have to do to mark it as charge the customer is click complete visit each time. So that right there is your general jobber pipeline. You're going to go from a request, either filled out on your website or filled out however, to an assessment, which is you calling the customer, coming in person, taking a look, then sending a quote, getting the approval of said quote, scheduling the job onto Jobber, and then completing the job by, charging an invoice. I'm now going to just kind of work down this line real quick just to show you what all each thing consists of. First thing up here is going to be clients. That's pretty straightforward. Just has all your clients' information. The next one is going to be your request. It's going to have all of your requests. It's going to show you your conversion rate on the request as well. Quotes, same exact thing. Overview, conversion, sent, converted. Gives you all the statistics you need. Jobs also does something very similar to the quote ones. They're pretty much all very similar in regards to what information it is. It just applies to whatever it is, a quote or an invoice. But this is all really important because now you can know, is your business growing? Is it declining? Do I need to spend more in ads? Do I need to spend less in ads? What exactly is it? The last one in this little subsection is going to be invoices, and this is going to show you issued, average invoice payment time. So let's say the last 30 days, it takes customers 2 days to pay. Well, that's probably a problem, and they shouldn't be taking that long. In my opinion, I think when I send the invoice, it should be paid. Now, I'm not going to hound someone down for not paying in 2 days, but if every single customer is not paying in 2 days or 3 days, 4 days, whatever it is, then you can look at that and go, maybe I need to add something to my contract that tells them it needs to be paid the day of. Just like that, Jobber helped you fix an error in your business. Down here is where we're going to be getting into more of the advanced sections. So the first section is going to be the reviews. So you can connect your account to this. So every time you finish a job, it's going to automatically send them a request for a review, which is going to make it a lot easier to stack up those Google reviews. Then you have your campaigns. These are email campaigns where you're going to actually be able to send emails to your customers. So if you have a large customer database, you can send it to them. You can get them so they're all automated. So you can literally, during the down season in January, set up all your emails for 12 months and have them automatically run. So you never miss a holiday or never miss a specific date you want to run the campaigns. Then we got the referrals section. So this is going to send an email to all of your customers letting them know, hey, if you refer me using this link, you get 10 to 15% off your next service, whatever you choose it to be. And you can also make it so that 2 weeks later or 3 weeks, whatever it is, after you completed the work, it just sends them one last follow-up text after the Google review text saying, hey, just want to let you know, if you would like, use this referral code, you'll get a discount on your next service. The last section is for people that don't have a website. Majority of people who are buying Jobber should already have a website set up. But if you don't have a website, they do offer a quick little way to set up a free website. Now, in my opinion, it is probably not going to be the best website. Or, as a matter of fact, it definitely isn't. Like, if you were to compare that to my website, I mean, it's not going to look anywhere near as good. But it's going to create a landing page. So if it's free, why not? Then you're going to hit your AI receptionist area. Now, if you didn't pay for this, you can just skip this portion. This is going to take a little while for you to set up, and I'm not going to get into this just yet, just due to the fact that I want this video to be as short as possible, so I'm not wasting everyone's time. But the AI receptionist is really awesome. So let's say someone calls me and says, hey, Zach, can you skip my yard tomorrow? The AI receptionist is going to go, hey, yes, we can. Let me collect some information. It's going to get all the info from the customer. What's his name? What's his email? Which customer is he? Then it's going to figure out what the problem is. The problem is he doesn't want us to mow on Friday. Okay. It's going to write a note. Customer wants you to skip on Friday. Please reach out to this phone number again. Just like that, on my schedule that day. Let's say I get a call at 11 a.m. At 11:05 a.m., when that call ends, the AI automatically puts it on my schedule that I need to reach out to them. So rather than me having to deal with the back and forth, I just have the information now, and I can attack the situation. It does the exact same thing for when people are texting you. So I get random little small texts all the time, and it's really nice because it's able to respond to all those kind of menial texts rather than me having to sit here and do it myself. Next section is going to be the insights. Now, this section is absolutely insane. You can pretty much find out every little detail about your business through here. New leads, requests, converted quotes, all that, your revenue, receivables, projected income, invoice payment time, lead conversion time. You can see your reoccurring versus one-off, your scheduled job value, average job value, monthly reoccurring job value. Right below the General Insights tab is going to be the Reports tab, and this is where you can go through and really find every single last detail. Once again, I'm not going to go through all this too much, but you can just real quick read through all this. It's going to show you freaking every single last thing you need to know. Next up is the expense section. So this is where you can write in all your expenses. Just to be honest with you, I do not personally use this. I use QuickBooks for all this. So I don't know too much about this, but it just helps you document things, and it can also help with your bookkeeping at the end of the year. If you're already using QuickBooks though, there might not be much of a benefit to this. And maybe if I would have implemented this earlier when I first got Jobber, it would have been a lot more useful for me. But just because I didn't implement it in time, it hasn't really been anything I used. Then, of course, you got timesheets, so you can switch users and you can go through each day. Once you go through and you confirm it, you can approve the timesheets, and then you can confirm the payroll. Just more documentation showing that you paid your employees. Then the last three sections are community, apps, refer a friend. I'm not going to go through community or refer a friend. The apps, though, is pretty awesome. So you can add stuff such as your QuickBooks for easier bookkeeping. You can add company cam, so you can add 1,000,000 pictures. There's a lot of small little things that you can add on to Jobber, which is already an amazing service, like MailChimp, for example. I use MailChimp. I have that hooked up. But yeah, there's 1,000,000 different tools. I'm sure y'all can go through and find which one will be the best for you. Okay, so we were going to act like this isn't 2 days later. I ended up getting caught up with a bunch of other stuff, my AC being out and this and that, so I've just been really busy. But let's get into the final little details I want to go over with y'all. So a couple things I would recommend setting up immediately as soon as you get Jobber. The first one is going to be the location services. That's what it's called. So as you can see, I can click right there. Location timers. Team members can consent to receiving notifications based on their location to help daily time tracking. So what this does is there's a bubble around the address. As soon as my employees get within reach of that address, it clocks them in. Once they get out of reach, it clocks them out. So that makes it so that way if my customer calls you, hey, what time are your guys here? I've been here all day. I didn't see them. Oh, they were there from 7 to 8 a.m. Shows right here. No, they weren't. Yes, they were. And I had that happen to me a few times in the past, so it is nice having that. I know I already went through this, but I really recommend setting up these job forms, especially if you're like me and you're not on every single site. It makes it so you can do a lot of quality control and a lot of peacekeeping, and it makes it so you delegate it to your employees to do rather than you having to go do it. This one I highly recommend you do. This is all your automated text, your emails. When you send a quote, what's it going to say? When it's 2 days after the job and it requests a review, what's it going to say? I highly suggest customizing this. So, for example, the quote follow-up. So send a follow-up, hey, we have, just wanted to check in. Have you seen the estimate? I switched it so that it made it seem less automated and more like it was me actually messaging that specific customer. And I have gotten a huge increase in how many responses I get. This section is very similar to that. You want to adjust your automation. So like, for example, quotes follow up 2 days after quotes are set. Maybe you want it to follow up 24 hours later. Maybe you want it to follow up 7 days later. However you want it to be, you can adjust it, tweak it, however you want. The last thing I want to show you is super duper important. And it's very important you do this from the beginning because I did it. And then like 3, 4, 5 months down the line, I had to go through and it took forever. Every single customer add a tag, power washing, landscaping, mowing. It makes it so you can do more targeted email campaigns. But also, whenever we have to reschedule the mowing, instead of texting or emailing individuals, I can go to the email campaigns, type in the tag mowing1, and all my customers on my mowing route are right there. Boom, bulk send it. I communicated, done, done, done. Ignore how dirty my shirt is. I got spray paint stuff all over it. But I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap the video up here. I hope you were able to get a lot of information from this video, and now maybe you can see a little more insight as to why I love Jobber so much and why so many other home service business owners use this service. If you're interested in purchasing Jobber and this was your last convincing piece, go ahead and head over to the link in my description. It's going to be labeled Jobber, get 20% off for 6 months. You can do a 2-week free trial, see how it works for your business, and if you end up liking it, you get 20% off your first 6 months. Thank you guys so much for watching another one of my videos, and I hope you have a wonderful day.